So we survived Halloween. And I don't know, I'm feeling, first of all, I feel great because when I eat mindfully and prioritize clean food, I always feel great. So that, again, just to reiterate, is the benefit of the cleanse. But I was feeling really disheartened yesterday from a cultural perspective of what this candy means. And Americans spend $8 billion on candy for Halloween. And my kids go trick-or-treating and they had a huge pillowcase full of candy, and I'm not gonna fight the $8 billion industry. Like, I'm not gonna fight Nestle and Monsanto on this one, even though genetically modified BT corn, heavily sprayed with glyphosate, used to sweeten all of those products, not to mention the slave labor that's used for the growth of the cocoa beans and the detriment to the planet that kind of chemical farming does. It kills the planet and it simultaneously kills people, not just the high fructose corn syrup itself and what it does to our mitochondria and to our metabolism and so forth, but also what those chemicals that are killing the planet also do to our bodies. It's literally like, this is how my friend described it, and I thought it was perfect. It is like somebody beating up our children, because it's beating them up on the inside and it's beating us up on the inside. And so if somebody was like, I'm gonna kick the snot out of your kid, we would advocate and be like, the hell you are. And yet that is what those types of foods do. And we're getting ready to move into an entire season of versions of that food. Holiday parties, Thanksgivings with the side dishes that Aunt so-and-so makes with things out of a can, and so on and so forth. And culturally, these are expected and accepted. And I'm just gonna tell you that I'm not here for it at all. And when you give yourself a hard time about eating this candy or making these side dishes, what I'm going to tell you is don't, because it is not your fault. You are literally pushed up against an entire industry that doesn't want you supporting your health. They literally manufacture food that's chemically designed, stronger than cocaine, more addictive than cocaine, to make it so you can't eat just one. That's Pringles' whole motto. So it doesn't matter if it's a potato chip or a Cheeto or a Reese's or anything in between, like, it is all designed for the short-term profits of industrial agriculture at the expense of our planet and our own health. So how do we navigate it? You're doing it right now, simply because you are being mindful about what you put in your mouth. That's where it starts. And arguably, you all feel better. I've talked to you each individually, and some of you have been active in this group. So you've all said you feel good. So we know that when we are mindful about what we put in our body, we feel good. We also need to know that when we don't eat mindfully, we don't feel well, right? And I just wanted to open up this dialogue because I watch, especially women, because that's the majority of my client base, beat themselves up for not having enough willpower. You are fighting a multi-trillion-dollar industry. They want you to eat the whole bag. That is the purpose of those foods. And the only way that we can bump up against that successfully is to maintain some type of mindfulness. And the first step is knowing that that's what's going on. And then the second step is being kind to ourselves, not negative self-talk about our inability to resist the temptation, but more understanding the purpose and intent of that industry, because it's very profitable for them to make sure that we binge eat. So how do you plan to continue mindful eating throughout this season? Post in the comments.